What's good, Box Bully World? This is Zeb, your host of Bully Talk with Zeb Pits, and today I have a very, very special guest, none other than Timothy Sinclair. He is currently the Director of Judges for the ICBR,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes.
Also, you're a judge for the WBR,
Yes, the WBR.
Interna- International Judge, retired
Yeah, for
Marine. What's in the kennel?
the straight to the top bullies. Actually, that was my old kennel. We just started League of Extraordinary Bullies. It's gonna be my new kennel name.
Appreciate that. And we gonna take it all the way back, man. Where you originally from?
I'm originally from Lumberton, North Carolina. Grew up, raised here. Left when I joined the Marine Corps. Was in the Marine Corps in the Department of Defense for like 18 years, and I moved back here with my parents. So because they're older now, so I'm here back in Lumberton, North Carolina. So
Now, how did you get involved with the whole dog scene, with the bullies?
um, my dad actually got us into American Pit Bull Terriers when we were young. We had our very first American Pit Bull Terrier. So when I came back, I started breeding American Pit Bull Terriers. Then I stepped out and I started breeding Chows and Dobermans um, and Rottweilers. And then that's when I got into the American Bullies after that.
What was the first American bully that you remember that caught your eye?
King Kamali.
Definitely.
King
That was
Kamali.
one of the baddest American bullies in history.
King
What
Kamali,
was it about him that made him special to you?
just his ring presence, his build. And then I got in with Mike of I can't remember Mike's name. Mike Jordan, who owned Mugshot and produced Grand Champion Appletini.
Appletini,
So he
she was
had
bad. She was
yeah,
bad.
so I had a chance to meet up with Mike of Gorilla Kennels, and I got to train some of his dogs. He sent them from California to me, and I trained Mugshot, and I earned his championship title. And that's how I really got to see. And he broke it down to Kamali blood and all of that, the thing in Kamali blood. So
Now, since you've started dealing with the American bullies and when you first got started, how has the scene changed in North Carolina from when you first started to what you see today? Because now you're having a bunch of shows that's going on down there in North Carolina.
yeah, it's changed a little. It has progressed, which you with everything is progression. You know what I'm saying? Everything changes. With the North Carolina scene, we have a more most of the guys that I started with showing and breeding American bullies, they've gone, a lot of them gone to the exotic side. Even the guys that started with American Pit Bull Terriers, they do exotic. So North Carolina has a lot of nice exotics, the exotic scene, and they still have nice American bullies. We still have American bully breeders like Anthony Gray. He still breeds American bullies and everything. We have just a whole lot of, but we have a large variety of everything. Um, and the thing about it, which I love, everybody embraces each other. Nobody really knocks each other for what they breed because it's just like when you go in the grocery store, Pepsi, Coke, all of those are on the shelves. You got a choice of what you want to do. And there's nobody in there saying, hey, you don't need to take Pepsi. You don't need to drink Mountain Dew. So North Carolina's they just embrace each other.
Now, in the beginning with the exotic scene, did North Carolina really embrace the exotic community in the beginning? Knowing it's such a heavy, American bully scene. Because remember during that time, I don't know when you came in, it was, with the RKC was really heavily involved in the North Carolina scene during that time.
No, not really. I mean, it was hold on. It was kind of they embraced it. Certain people embraced it, but a lot of people shunned it to the side. You know what I'm saying? So it took some time. Well, people had to really understand you're not going to be able to stop people from what they want to breed. So, I mean, it's their dogs. They feed them. So, I mean, don't knock what somebody else is doing until you really understand it. Like I stepped into it like a lot of my really close friends breed exotics. And I really went and checked out their programs and understood and sat down with them and talked about it. So I understand it different. That's why what the ICBR and the WBR stuff will give everybody a platform to show what they love to show.
Speaking on the exotics, right? Is there such a thing as a clean exotic? Or will they
Is there such a
consider
name
that?
as a clean exotic?
Yes, because what I mean by that is, would they consider it could be so clean that they would consider that like a micro bully, American bully, instead of exotic? So, what is there a standard right now? I always wondered that. Is there a true standard for the exotic right now?
Um, I would say there's people breeding towards the clean exotics. Which everything, even with American Bully, there's always going to be flaws. So you have breeders that are taking the initiative to breed towards that for more clean and functional exotics. You know what I'm saying? So it's a process, just like the American Bully was a process. So with the American Bully, we're still in the process. You know what I'm saying? Even though like sometimes it seems like there's stepping stones you have to take. There's a lot of people that's taking the right steps to get to that point where they have functional and clean exotics. I have a couple of friends, and they show, and that's their goal, is to breed towards functional and clean exotics.
Just thinking about overall what's going on right now. You're the director of judges for the ICBR. Talk to me about the ICBR and what they bring to the table for the American bully community.
Okay, the ICBR is innovative canine breeders registry. We don't only focus on American bully breeds and the bully breeds. We focus on all breeds. We register Doberman Pinschers, Rottweilers, Pomeranians, all canine breeds we register. So when we're at the point now where when we have a show, we will have a specialty ring, a third ring just for specialty breeds like the Pomeranians, the Rottweilers, German Shepherds, and all of those breeds. The other breeds that we register, they have their own ring to show in, where we'll have a specialty judge that will just judge them. And then at the best in show, those winners will come back and compete against the bully breed side in one big best in show, kind of like how the AKC does it. They'll do one big best in show, and the two judges will choose a pull out, and then they'll choose the winner of that. So the ICBR is not only for your bullies. If you have Pomeranians or Chihuahuas running around in your house, you can register those too.
Oh, wow.
So it's for all canine breeds. So like I said, we don't, right now our shows are just for the bully breeds, but we still have a show and compete for best in show at the end. But we're working towards doing a third ring, a specialty shows just for the other breeds, the smaller breeds, toy breeds, the hunting breeds, the herding breeds and stuff like that. And we're also working on weight pull and stuff like that, and lure courses, Shih Tzu training. We're working on all of that in the ICBR.
Now, who actually is the founding fathers of the ICBR?
The founders are Terry and Malika Huntley. They were both AKC. They were both ABKC judges and reps. They went to the AKC side, so they breed and show AKC breeds. But they decided about 3 years ago, he spoke with me about doing it and bringing a canine breed, which involved the bully community also, since we're not recognized with the AKC and stuff. So he wanted to do a canine bully breed, a canine registry that included the bully breeds also, and also the other breeds, so they can compete against those. And they're the founders. Terry and Malika Huntley are the founders of the ICBR.
Now, how did they come to you to make you the director of judges for the ICBR?
I used to train all their dogs and show them for them in the ABKC, the RKC, and they came to me and asked me a bunch of questions because I was already judging for the WBR, the BBCR, which I'm still a judge for the BBCR, and I judge for the ABW overseas. And they was asking questions about the standards and stuff like that, and what would make a better impact in the community. And they showed me their idea and stuff, and I was like, that would be really great because it'll bring more to the table for the ICBR, so we don't just focus on just bully breeds. Everybody get to see other breeds, and if they got other, like, there's a lot of bully breeders that don't only breed bullies, they breed Pomeranians, Chihuahuas, Poodles, and stuff like that. So they were like, we want to bring it, so if they got other breeds at home, they can bring them to the show also, and show them and earn them a title in the ICBR. And
Now,
that's where it all came from.
how has the response been from the people at the shows for the ICBR?
It's been a great response. We have had a large turnout of people and stuff like that. Everybody's enjoying it because it's a different scene, and we took it back old school where it's family oriented. Although you can bring your whole family and enjoy the show, and then with our kids, we got a whole. We're working on a kids program now where we'll be giving scholarship funds to the junior handlers and stuff that can help them as they go towards college and stuff. So we're trying to take it back to the family-oriented environment where everybody just comes out and enjoy the show, have a great time, and then just focus back on the dogs and stuff.
You know, that's interesting that you talk about that. Do you feel that some point in time that got lost in the process? Being family
at some point, I think the dogs did get lost in the process, and a lot of the focus went on to the people instead of the dogs. So with the ICBR, our focus is just like with the WBR also and the ABW. Our focus is to put the focus back on the dogs. That's what the focus needs to be, because that's what the breed is about. It's about the dog. It's not the people behind the dog. See, everybody's got Facebook crazy now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody put themselves in front of the dog. Like one of my good friends, Joe, said, he said, you stop talking and let your dog do the talking. So when you walk your dog in your ring, you don't have to say nothing. Your dog speaks for you. And that's where it should get back to.
That is a excellent, great point. Remember on flyers, only thing you saw were the dogs, the hot dogs doing that.
Exactly.
Now, I think we don't turned into celebrities. Man, I don't know, man. Now you got the people on the flyers, man. It don't change. So
see, and that's what us with the ICBR, we put the dogs on the flyers, and the only other thing we put on there is our judges. We don't put no celebrities, because what it does, it makes people shun back if you put somebody on there and they end up winning the whole show, and they be like, well, the show got rigged. You know what I'm saying? Because but like our main focus is back on the dogs and the community and giving back to the community. And that's the whole goal. Then that's why I love it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I judge. I judge because I enjoy this. I don't know. I done been through the ropes and understand. And then my biggest mentor is Ron Ramos, which we talk almost every day. And I had an opportunity to do a lot of shows and judge with Ron. And I've also had him here at my home. He's came and stayed 4 or 5 days while he judged my show. So me and him, we always chop it up. And even when I was showing and I showed under him, he always gave me great mentorship and helped me out through where I'm at. And even now, he said, look, Tim, like me and him are judging the big show, the big WBR show in Mexico in October. We're judging together.
Wow, you going to Mexico?
So,
man, that's a blessing right there.
Yes, sir.
To get these opportunities, did you ever imagine you get these type of opportunities traveling the world to judge dogs, man? That's amazing that we've gotten to that point with this breed that people are traveling all around the world. Life-changing situations because of these dogs, man. It's surprising.
Oh yeah, a lot of people have life-changing situations with these dogs. I mean, you really wouldn't expect it because you say it's dogs, but it has changed a whole lot of people's lives. Like it changed my life as far as dogs because after I got out of the Marine Corps, I battled PTSD. So one of my French bulldogs is my PTSD dog. So dogs. And I'm working right now, working with the ICBR. We're actually getting ready to start up a PTSD program to help out soldiers and stuff that need PTSD dogs to help them cope with anxiety and stress and stuff. So we got a trainer that's in Alabama where we're gonna send the dogs to. They train them for free, and then we're gonna actually give them to soldiers and stuff and veterans and people that need them to help. So they'll have all their paperwork and stuff. They'll be certified, and we're working on that program right now. Me and a young lady, we're heading it up for the PTSD program for the ICBR.
How important was that program for someone like you?
It will be, it's great. Like the lady that I'm working with, she said she never understood until she asked her husband what breed he wanted. He wanted a German Shepherd. And she said she got him a German Shepherd puppy. And she said within a week, she had her old husband back. Because that dog, the puppy, helped him cope and change and deal with a lot of emotions and stuff, because they can feel and understand. People don't really understand how really smart dogs are when it comes to picking you up and feeling you when you're down and you're sick and stuff like that. They understand that, and they can pick it up, and it helps change your daily routine. Especially a lot of people that have the anxiety attacks and stuff, the dog can pick it up and it'll come and get right up in their lap. And as you're rubbing it, that's the stress relief and stuff. And it really helps and change. The program has changed a lot of people's lives. So I talked with the owners of the ICBR, and I said, I want to do this because I have a lot of buddies that I was in the Marine Corps with that are asking for PTSD dogs because they went through a lot of war situations, the same as I have. So we're working with that, so we can help as many people as we can, change people's lives with dogs.
Just speaking on that, man, what's one of your most memorable experiences from a dog show? From the point of view of taking your dog, and from your point of view of judging?
A life-changing point of view. One of my life-changing point of views was when Candy from Raising Cane, she gave me one of her dogs, and nobody could show him. Nobody could show him. She had like 5 handlers. She gave it to me. She said, I need to get him champion. So within 3 shows, I had actually champed him out and took him to grand champion and 3 more shows. And he ended up being the number 2 dog behind Big Papa in the ABKC.
Oh, speaking of that, right? How special was Big Papa, man? A lot of people don't know how big and extreme he was, but could move so fluently like that.
Yeah, he was a really big dog. I mean, and I had to stand beside him with Crybaby. That was who it was. With Candy's dog, Crybaby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So we all went head to head, and he was number 1, and Crybaby was number 2 at the end of the year.
Now, is Mo still breeding or no?
I'm not sure. I know he just started back judging, but I'm not sure if he's still breeding. I don't know that. I can't answer that question.
Now, would you consider Chris one of the ambassadors for North Carolina when it comes to these bullies?
Christopher
Hodge.
Oh, I mean, Chris have made an impact. I remember showing with Chris in the RKC, because I was also a representative for the RKC. Right before, and I was a representative, I hosted shows for the RKC. Chris made he made an impact on North Carolina, and like I think now he's got a dog named Cash App, which he's come back with and stuff like that. But Rembrandt, I bred to Rembrandt, and I had a female Hidden Agenda. She was off Rembrandt, and she was a dual champion. I champed her out in 2 registries. She was an RKC champion, and so I mean, yeah. And a lot of and this is the thing with the ICBR, we're working towards getting most of the older people that walked away from dogs back to the community. Because listen, people need direction. And if I can get somebody that can help you skip 10 points, you can skip 10 process places, and you don't have to go through that, and they can help you get past those 10 points without doing them, then why wouldn't you? Like, if you can help me skip 5 places and I don't have to go through those 5 places, I can get 5 steps, then why wouldn't I? And the old school breeders know, and they know the blood, and they can give so much more knowledge to the young people that's coming up. Like me, I haven't done any breedings in like 10 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, because I was paralyzed for a year, so and I had to rehabilitate myself and stuff like that. So I haven't bred anything in 10 years. I
You
just
know,
been judging.
you know, Tim, speaking on that, was that one of the toughest things you had to go through was when you were dealing with the paralyzation?
Oh yeah, that was one of the darkest and roughest places of my life.
How
Um,
did you overcome something like that?
it took a lot. Because when I was going through that, I lost everything. Um, I was actually working for Lockheed Martin. I'm a certified avionics instructor. I teach people how to fix everything in the cockpit to fly with. I'm certified. I can do fiber optic cables, all of that. And I started having paralysis, and I couldn't drive. And then one morning I woke up and I couldn't feel from the waist down.
Wow.
And after that, I was going to doctors and doctors. They was like, "You're only gonna have 6 months, and you'll be in a wheelchair for life." And I'm
Did they
like,
know
"Well,
what happened? What caused it?
I got hurt in boot camp, and I didn't think it was. They didn't think it was that severe, but after flying so much, I have 4 herniated discs, and my sciatic nerve got stuck in between two of the discs, so it was pinching my
Ooh.
sciatic nerve, and I was losing feeling in from the waist down. So I could be walking, and then my legs would just go out. I would fall and collapse. So eventually, the nerve got pinched real bad, and I couldn't feel from the waist down. So I
Man.
lost everything, lost my family, my wife left, and everything. My parents took care of me, and then they just if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't be here. My parents they took care of me, and they just kept willing me to walk. Hey, you got to get up, son. You got to keep trying. You've never given up.
You
And then
know, during
one
that
day
time, during that
it
time, did
just
you ever lose
released,
faith?
and I got up.
During that time, did you ever lose faith in God during that time?
Oh yeah. It was a battle. I was like Job. I'm not gonna tell a story.
Hmm.
I got to the point. I'm like, and I quit. You know, when you get to that point in life, you question God. Like, God, why me? I mean, I'm a good person. I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing as much as I can to help people. But see, everything happens for a reason, and that's what we got to understand. God don't make no mistakes. He already know, like the Bible says, God knows the end of a thing before the beginning of a thing. So while we at the beginning, God's already went to the end. He's like, I already know my son's gonna get through this because I already structured and organized his life to make it. I want to build his willpower and what he got, what's in him. And that's what we got to get to in life. And a lot of times we miss the mark because of that. We give up so easily on God. But the thing about God, he will never give up on us.
Because,
Never.
like like you said, during that time, man, when you said you lost your wife during that time, right?
Yeah.
And just thinking about, when you do the words, do the good, do the bad, and did you just start questioning life at that point?
Yeah. I honestly, and I can be sincere and I can tell my story. My sister saved my life from suicide. I was losing everything. I was battling paralysis. I was ready to give up on life. And I tell everybody, but a lot of people don't really know the story. I was sitting in my closet with a 45 in my hand. And out of nowhere, my sister walks in my house and standing over me in my closet. She said, God just told me to come and check on you. And to this day, my sister, and she knows, she's a big part of my life, a big impact of my life. Because she saved my life. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her also. Or my parents. My parents took care of me. I love my parents to death. I go to my parents' house every day. My parents are older now, they're like 75. So I spend as much time as I can with my parents because they didn't really, I was an adult and they took care of me as a child. And they didn't really have to do that because they was already older. But like I tell everybody, I'm a walking miracle. I have no surgeries. I dropped from 265 pounds to 125 pounds.
During that process.
Yeah, during the process. I look
Wow.
like Eddie King on 5 Heartbeats.
Man,
But
let me ask you, man, because you went through a hell of a test to tell your
yeah,
testimony. What did you learn in that test to talk about your testimony today?
through all of that process, I learned God is able to do anything. No matter what you're going through, no matter the situation you're in, no matter who walks away from you, who turns their back on you, who don't believe in you, God is always there. God is not like man. He will never change his mind about you. What God says about you, he will always hold up to that. Even though we're not perfect, because we'll never be perfect. Because as the Bible says, we're born in sin and shaped in iniquity. We'll never be perfect, and God understands that. That's why Jesus came down to stand in the gap for us. And he pleads mercy every day for us, because God already knew we weren't going to be perfect. But long as we strive for perfection, that's the goal. And every day we have to strive and keep striving towards our goals and stuff, and not give up on life. Because at any point in time, God can say, okay, today, my child, it's time for them to come out of that and move forward like he did me. Sometimes we have to go through the process. We have to endure the process to get to the prize. And a lot of times
sometimes you got to go through the fire. Yeah, you know.
Exactly. A lot of times we don't want to go through that because it seems so hard and difficult and we can't do it. But all things are possible through Christ who strengthened us.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite scriptures.
No, you know, I'm gonna ask you about that, man. What is it about the state of North Carolina and just the bond with God, man? For real. I'm being honest about that, man. You find a lot of North Carolinas, man, that North Carolina.
I mean,
because you know,
I don't know.
My whole father's side from North Carolina. So
yeah, they call it the Bible Belt. But I mean, I really don't know. This is my thing. I know God from my own personal experience, so nobody can never change my mind. Like I tell people all the time, I will walk. If you're gonna destroy my peace and make me change my mind about God, I'll walk away from you before I turn my back on God. Because the only reason why I'm here today is because of God and my experiences I experienced with him. It's not by what somebody else said. It's my own personal experience with God. Because who do you know will get up from being paralyzed a year from the waist down, just get up and start walking? No surgeries, no nothing.
No one.
No one. Just like I'm just saying. And he restored everything back to me and more. I thought I had a lot then, but God has shown me. And here's a real testimony. I have not been on a job since 2009.
Amazing.
And God has restored everything to me and shown me favor because I was obedient and I stayed in place and I endured the process. That's like the Bible said. He said, I will withhold no good things from you. So long as you obey God and keep your focus on God, he'll make sure you're taken care of. A lot of times we lose focus off God. And we allow the cares of this world to change us.
And let me ask you, Timothy, how do you let God use you today?
Say that again.
How do you let God use you today to be a vessel for
him? Today at my shows, I give back so much, and everybody already know, I'm an advocate for God regardless. Even on my Facebook post, like I tell everybody, you have to learn God for yourself. Don't go off nobody else's testimony, because this is an individual thing. There's not going to be a lawyer when we stand before him. There ain't going to be no lawyer up there saying, well, let me plead a case for JoJo. No, it's going to be between you and God. So I try to spread as much word as I can about God, even though sometimes even me being strong in faith, I get weak also. But then that's when I have to dig down in that word and pull it back and allow that word to minister to me also. So like I minister in mine at my church and stuff like that, and I do different things in ministry. But I also do ministry stuff at my shows and stuff. Like I'm actually planning a gospel concert at one of my shows and stuff. Because my whole family's in the ministry. My sister's a preacher. My sister and her husband, they're psalmists, and he plays keyboards and instruments and stuff like that. My brothers and sisters, all of them play drums and everything. So my whole family is ministry. I mean, from my mom and dad all the way down. So
how did you get? I want to go back then a little bit. How did you? What made you decide out of all the branches, the Marines?
The Marine Corps? Honestly, I don't even know. I'm gonna tell you. I was staying in Charlotte, and I said, "Man, I want to do something different with my life." My sister and them have been to the Army. Some of my friends been to the Navy, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna try the Marine Corps. I can do that." Because I seen their uniform and I love their discipline and stuff. My dad was like, "Boy, you are crazy. Those guys are insane in the Marine Corps." But I went to boot camp, graduated, and went from there. I loved it. I loved the Marine Corps. If I could go back and they would let me re-enlist, I would go back in right now.
Man, let me ask you, man. That's interesting that you say that, right? What is it like, man, to see another fellow Marine, man, that been through the same stuff you've been through? It's a big camaraderie among y'all, man. I mean,
yeah, it's
branches,
a big,
of course, but I think it's a little bit more different when it comes to Marines, man.
Yeah, like the Marine Corps, the camaraderie and the brotherhood is so strong. Like it's like you're there. It's like your second family. It's like you're birthed into a new family. And no matter, I have friends from 24, 25 years ago in the Marine Corps we still stay in contact right now. And they like, "Yo, if you ever come in the area, you ain't got to pay nowhere to stay. Come and stay with us. Come and hang out with me and my family." It's been that way. And then when I was in the Marine Corps, all my brothers and stuff, Marine Corps brothers, I would bring them home to my family, and they would stay with my parents. And my mom would get up every day and cook breakfast and stuff for them. And we would go hang out. They would sit out and talk to my dad. And to this day, they always call and check up on my mom and dad, or ask me how my mom and dad doing, because it didn't matter color. My mom treated them just like she treated us.
Speaking of your parents, really helping you during your darkest times, do you ever see yourself getting married again?
Say that one more time.
With your parents helping you during your darkest times and seeing what you had went through when you were married, do you ever see yourself being married again?
Do I see myself being married again? I don't know. I mean, I thought about it. I've been single like 8 years, and I've just been doing dog shows and dog stuff. But I'm at a point in my life now where I want somebody in my life to enjoy the rest of my life with, to do dogs and stuff with, that I can travel with. And we just do dogs and travel and enjoy the rest of the life. You know what I'm saying? Because life is too short not to enjoy, or have somebody to enjoy with, laugh with, joke with, have fun with. And that's what it's all about. I mean, I've thought about getting married again, but I have put it off to the side in the back. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm not knocking it or anything. Not saying I won't, but I mean, I've thought about it, because my parents have been married over 50 years. And then and it's the crazy thing, my whole family is involved in my dog shows. My whole entire family works for me when it comes to my dog shows. My mom and parents own a catering business. They do all the catering. My sisters and stuff, they work the door. And then everybody does something with my dog show.
Sound very familiar, like Tayshawn and his family.
Say that again.
It almost sounds like Tayshawn and his family. You know how they
work.
You remember the show you at work up Delaware?
Yeah, my whole family, they works my whole entire dog show. The door, the food. My sister, she does catering. She makes homemade desserts from scratch. And then my mom has her own catering business. She got her own recipes. Like if I'm hosting a dog show, everybody's like, yo, your mom, make sure your mom them cooking and your sister bring her desserts. Like they sell out because they put, it's just like me with my dogs and stuff. They put their whole heart in what they do. And my mom and parents, they love cooking, and my sister and them. But my dad said one time, like he pulled me to the side a couple of years ago, he said, you know what, son, when you first got these dogs, I wanted you to get rid of them. He said, now, he said, I'm so proud of you and where you've gone and what you've accomplished and how far you've come. He said, you don't even see it. Sometimes you're like the Joseph of our family because you have brought us into this, all of this together.
What did those words mean to you when he said that?
It coming from my dad, it meant a lot because my dad, he don't say too much. You know what I'm saying? My dad's always been a quiet type. And me and him was so much alike. You know, when you like somebody, you always clashing. I'm like, man, go let me do this. And but with that, I mean, it meant a whole lot to me. Because, you know, as him, like growing up, he's always been quiet. And then my dad worked so much when we were kids that we never got to see him. He used to work 3 jobs to make sure we were all taken care of. So we would see him in just spurts. And he would take us fishing. And then he'd be like, listen, guys, we got to go back to the house because I had to go to work. So after about an hour or so, he'll have to leave and go back to work. And he was working 3 jobs. So to make sure all of us were taken care of.
As a kid, did you understand that, or was it more like I wanted him around more? Because, you know, sometimes kids can be confused in situations like that. They don't understand. Sometimes parents got to do what they got to do in order.
Well, we understood because he sat down and explained it to us, and our mom told us too. So in order for us to be able to and able to have clothes and stuff for school, my dad had to do that because my mom for a while stayed home and took care of us. So we understood that, and now we make up for that time. Like we always go family vacations. We have a whole bunch of cookouts, get together. We all just my whole family get together and we just have a great time.
You know, speaking how your dad is, how hard was it to see you like that in that position that you were in, paralyzed during that time? How hard was it for him to see you like that?
It was hard. I think my mom took it the hardest, and my dad he didn't say much because my parents knew how I was. I'm always going, even right now. I'm always going. I'm building something or doing something. And for me to just not be able to do anything, just lay on that couch and watch them, I think it took a toll on my mom. But when I got up, and they kept pushing me to get up, it really changed them too also. So, I mean, like my dad, he always say he was just here. He was here cutting grass yesterday, which he brings a lawnmower. I cut the grass and I still pay him. He just sits out there and drink Coke most of the time. But he always say, I'm so proud of you. And that means a lot to me coming from my dad. You know what I'm saying? So like my little brother say, you just like him. So,
Hey, man, I got to say, man, I truly, truly appreciate you coming on Bully Talk with Zeb Pits, man. To really get
I thank you, man, for having me, man. I really appreciate you having me. It's been a blessing just to be on here, man.
Because I got to tell you, man, a lot of people in this world, you know, they're going through life trials, tribulations of life, and to hear someone who went through the test and can tell their testimony, man, that's a blessing to a lot of people that might be watching this, man. So that's one of the things I always ask about, you know, the struggles that someone been through and how that God helped them through that process. And I truly appreciate you sharing your testimony with my audience today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you allowing me to tell my testimony, because sometimes we never know the hardship people go through. We see people smiling, but we don't never know what they're battling, because a lot of people smile through the hardship.
That's a great point. And I even will say this for people who see people in their season, because, you know, people have seasons that you might see somebody who's winning right now, but you don't know what they had to go through in order to be winning right now. They might have been through a dark season, and you never know. But then the jealousy and hate when they show their stuff on social media, like, hey, I'm doing good now. Like with the envy, jealousy, and hate comes along with it, man. So
yeah, and that's the truth. You never know what dark place that a person had to go to get to where they're at. Like if nobody knew my story or I never said anything, nobody never knew what I went through. And that's like you could have went through a dark place, but nobody knows because we didn't give up and we kept pushing on. But a lot of times, like I tell people, our testimonies is what help other people because they could be, and the one thing I understood about God, sometimes we go through stuff so we can help somebody else that's got to go through that. Like I said, we can help them skip those steps of those dark places that they won't have to go to. They can skip over and come out earlier. And that's the whole thing with ministry and God. He uses vessels to help other people also. It's not about just physical giving. It can be encouragement to keep somebody going because he has a destiny on their life and they might have to go through this hardship in order to reach their destiny, but it'll be worth it in the end.
Man, I truly appreciate your time today, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, there you have it. Timothy Sinclair, Bully Talk with Zeb Pits, man. I truly appreciate your time today, man.
All right, so you have a blessed day.
All right. Well, hey, for all the people, man, that might be watching this, where can they follow you at on the social media platforms?
You can follow me on Facebook. Also, I'm on every platform. Instagram.
Is that all under Timothy Sinclair?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll leave the links in the description so people can click on it to get to your different social media platforms.
You can just straight to the top. If you type in straight to the top bullies, it'll come right up.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll make sure to put that in the link. All right, man. Once again, man, I truly appreciate your time today.
You too, sir. Have a good day. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right.
Take care.
There you have it. Timothy Sinclair, Bully Talk Zeb Pits. We out.